it's Stacy with Limelight AZ. So I am experiencing lately some sort of histamine issue, which apparently is pretty common with bee venom therapy. The bees themselves don't tend to have a lot of histamine in their venom, but because of the nature of the bee venom therapy, it tends to bring problems to the forefront. And so it seems that I'm having some sort of histamine issue, which is very uncomfortable and a little nerve-wracking, especially for me. Histamine issues seem to be kind of in the head and neck area, which makes you feel like you are going to have trouble breathing if it gets much worse. Waited it out yesterday and it was fine. And the thing is, I'm trying to avoid taking Benadryl because of my thyroid medication. It can cause heart palpitations that can be quite scary. I've actually experienced it once in my life, and I don't really care to go through that again, especially since I'm on such a high dosage of medication. It's a drug interaction instead of, like, because of my thyroid condition, I have an interaction. So I figured the higher my thyroid medication, the bigger an issue I'll have. So I don't really want to do the Benadryl. I'll do it if I feel like it's scary. I'm not really sure where I was at. I know I was talking about the histamine issues and not wanting to take Benadryl, but I don't know if that's the last thing I said. So yeah, I don't want to take Benadryl because of my thyroid medication that I'm on. I will if I feel like I'm going to die if I don't take it, but I don't really want to take it. So this is going to be probably one of the rougher periods of trying to get through the bee venom therapy, because I really don't like the way the histamine stuff makes me feel. So far I don't really seem to be having an issue with histamine causing foods. I think what triggered my last situation was histamine releasing foods, which is interesting because I would have thought that I would have had problems with both if I'm going to have issues with histamine, but apparently it's the histamine releasing foods that have caused me issues. My diet tends to be pretty much the same. I don't have a lot of variety. Right now I'm eating chili, which is a bit of variety, but for the most part it tends to be the same things because I've had so many food triggers that I tend to want to stick with things that I know don't cause me problems. You know, another thing I'm dealing with is, like, congestion in my throat and stuff. I think it's just from being bedridden, and for whatever reason, it's a little thicker right now. 2 nights ago, I had a milkshake from Dairy Queen. My mother-in-law had taken my husband and the kids to Dairy Queen to spend some time with them and stuff, and they brought me a milkshake back that sounded good to me at the time. And I don't do the milkshakes real often, especially because of the gluten potential especially for the potential of gluten cross-contamination, but it sounded good, and I'm like, I've been really good recently. So I figured, what the heck, you know. So I had my husband get me a strawberry banana milkshake. Oh my gosh. That caused me issues all day yesterday. This was the night before last that he got the milkshake. It caused me problems all day yesterday. I was more congested. I was feeling like my whole head felt like it was swollen and a little itchy. My ears are still itchy this morning. And I still have, like, phlegm and stuff in my chest. That's kind of a constant for me because of being bedridden anyway, but it seems thicker and more problematic today. Sorry. So I'm not really enjoying this. And I mentioned to Logan, my husband, I was like, I don't understand why the milkshake would cause me more problems as far as phlegm than, like, what I normally consume for milk or cheese or whatever. He said it's because it's probably heavier cream. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes more sense. Well, yesterday when I was really not feeling very well, and I kept getting like, and I had milk yesterday morning for cereal, and it kept getting more and more worse. And I'm like, what is the deal? And turns out that the milkshake had all histamine related or histamine releasing foods in it: banana, strawberry, milk. So I think I just really overdid it on the histamine releasing foods all at the same time, and it was just a perfect storm for releasing a lot of histamine in my system. The histamine stuff, for the most part, I think is pretty much over. My ears, the inside of my ears still feel a little itchy. But the rest of my head and my throat, where it felt like I had almost sprained my tongue at the back of the tongue, or like different parts of my mouth or tongue were feeling swollen, even though it didn't really look like it, is over with. Thank goodness, because I really did not like that. But it seems that I'm probably going to want to go ahead and avoid milk for the most part for a few more days until I can try to get over this, whatever this is, phlegmy-wise. I am going to eat some potato soup later today, but the way we make it has just a shot of dairy in it. So I am going to try that because my stomach, although it hasn't been bad, I haven't really been wanting more warm foods, and potato soup is kind of a family favorite of a go-to for warm foods. So anyways, so yeah, I just wanted to touch base about the histamine issue. I know a lot of people tend to drop out of bee venom therapy because of histamine. And I can kind of see why. It's a little scary, especially when it's in the face and throat region. But I am determined that I am not going to let that stop me. I'll nix all of the histamine releasing and histamine causing foods before I'm willing to stop the bee venom therapy, especially after seeing such huge change with my pain level, and I don't want to go back to that. And I already know that the other therapies cause yo-yoing for how you feel. And so I'm sticking to it. I believe that my vlog of bee venom updates and stuff, I think is the longest one that there is on YouTube at this point. I think the longest one I've seen for people that have been trying to do bee venom therapy, that have been keeping a consistent update, has been for 6 months. So I'm past that now, and I'm really hopeful that other people will see the value and see the miraculous nature of the bee venom therapy, because I am even more sold on this than I was when I first went into it. And I was like, people thought I was crazy for wanting to do bee venom therapy, since I hadn't experienced other stuff yet. You know, I hadn't tried other therapies. I hadn't gone to a doctor for therapy or antibiotics, and people thought I was just downright crazy. And you're going to sting yourself with bees? Yep, sure am. And I'm even more sold on it now after having actually experienced the recovery that I'm having thus far. So anyways, I guess ramblings of a bedridden Lyme patient doing bee venom therapy, I guess is done for the day. Anyways, I hope all is well in your world, and talk to you guys later.